Hello everybody, this is Darkscythe. So, here are we again, Project Nexus 2. Whoa, what was that? So, the reason I'm doing this video because in November there was a new character released, which called The Offering. I would like to show that character and what he can do and what are his special abilities. I think it's a cool character and cool abilities. In my opinion, some of these skills are useful, some of them are not, and I would like to show you. I'm here in my arena, in the foundry, of course. I already have 3 people with me. They are pretty well geared up. Of course, it's not the finished version, and I would like to see what they can do. And at the moment, I'm gathering money for better weapons, upgrading, you know, the usual stuff. So let's see. I'm already in it. Of course, my genius friends already lost their weapons because I don't know why. But luckily they... What? Thank God. Because, I don't know, they were knocked down or something and they dropped their weapons. And of course, in every wave, as you probably know, if you don't pick up the weapons, they will disappear, so tough luck. I don't know what kind of weapons they have. And also I would like to show or tell you some tips that I have seen to work or worth noting in this game, because it basically didn't say it, the tool. There are no tooltips, at least for this kind of information. So the offering skills are the following. He's very good in gymnastics, and he's weak in melee combat, so unarmed damage. So in this game I think there are a lot of weapons, a lot of throwable items, a lot of melee weapons, so if you're not using it, I think you're just wasting it. You're wasting a potential and only playing the game in half mode, because this game is all about killing and, you know, having the best guns and etc. As you can see it. So I don't think, especially in the later runs, that unarmed damage is a big damage, because as you can see, all around me there are weapons. So a shitload of weapons, and of course you can pick up any of them, it's no problem. So I think it's not a big backdraw in the case of the offering. His other skills, I think he has the most of the skills or special skills. One of his thing is resurrecting the dead. So he has some percentage chance that when he kills an enemy by melee, unarmed or ranged, that guy's ghost will reappear and help you. Now don't expect too much from this ghost, because he's rather weak, so he's slow, he's flying around, and oh shit, and he can do some damage, but he's very slow in hitting, so he's more likely a I don't know, punch bag basically, but he can draw attention away from you or from your man, so it's quite good, especially when there are a lot of enemies on the screen, high level enemies, so it will take some time for them to kill these ghosts. The other special ability is when he's doing his executions, he can revive or restore his corpses and his tech bar. So if you have weapons or you're talented in a way that you will do a lot of stunts, and you are able to kill the guy, or at least not your man, but you are doing the killing, then you can be a field medic basically and heal yourself during the game, during arena mode. So it's quite helpful, because high level enemies tend to kill you very fast, even if you with armor, if you're not paying attention, or they surround you, swarm you, etc. And it could be a problem. Opa. Oh shit. And 1 sec. Okay. And this guy can heal himself. Of course, it requires a stun, so you have to stun these these enemies in order to use this skill. And the third skill that this guy has is all his throwable weapons, so javelins, daggers, what is this? Throwing axes, all these things can pass through multiple opponents. So if they're standard or they're lined up in a line, then you can hit them, hit all of them. Unfortunately, this is one of the tips I have. Unfortunately, it didn't happen to me in many cases because as you can see from in this case, they come from all kind of directions. It's very hard to line them up. And for me, even I'm using a keyboard and a mouse, it's very hard for me to aim, so it's quite tricky. Of course, you can get used to it, but in my opinion, the grenade is much more useful because, as you can see, they tend to surround you. No, oh yeah. So here's the execution. See, and if I would have a less corpus, so you would be missing one, then it would be refilled. Not only the tech bar, but the corpuses also. And this is, I think, at the moment, this is the only character that can do that. So what do I think? So when you're surrounded and you throw a grenade, you don't really have to aim. You just throw it around or near your feet, and the enemies may dodge a little while, so they may try to avoid it, especially higher level enemies, but sooner or later they will come back to the same explosion area, so they will move away, but then they will move into it again. In javelins and with throwing daggers, that's not possible. As I mentioned, higher enemies like engineers, so that they tend to move away from the first shot. It doesn't matter if it's come from a ranged weapon or from a throwable weapon. The problem is that for the ranged weapon you will have magazines, you will have a supply of shitload of ranged weapons, you know, from the arena, but unfortunately you cannot reload your throwable items. That's a problem, so you have to be very careful with them and use it only in a situation when you're absolutely sure that, for example, in the throwing axe case, that you will be able to hit multiple enemies, and you don't know that when there are a lot of soldiers on the monitor, that which one did his parry and which one didn't. So it is possible when you see a situation where a lot of soldiers, I will hit them, and half of them can parry that with their first move, and basically that weapon or that axe is wasted, just like this guy. So oh yeah, here it is. So I think even though it's kind of a cool skill, but it would need, I would say that he should throw in an arc, for example, or he should throw more weapons at the same time. Otherwise, it will only. So it has a big chance of missing the enemies, unfortunately. And I think it's very hard to aim. But of course, with what is it called? With the grenades, you just aim, throw it on your feet, wait a second or two, and it will explode. And usually, it will kill almost all the enemies. Only the toughest one, or the ones with very high armor, or the only ones who can survive. That's another thing. Why would you throw several axes to kill a guy? For example, these engineers, first you have to knock off their helmets, then you have to kill them manually. Why would you do that when you have a grenade that can instantly kill them? Of course, it's only for the higher levels. It's good for the beginning, but later on, I don't think it would be necessary to use it, in my opinion. Also, sorry, I will go out and... oh, no. Oh shit, I forgot to go out. Okay, and the next tip is, for example, in dual wielding, I know it's very cool to have a dual wield build, for example, but you have to pay attention to it. For example, as you saw, I had two huge knives. One of them was a resonance, I think the other was a shock, but I was hitting with them very slowly, even though I have dual wield. The problem is that there are several levels of dual wielding. For example, there's the beginner, the advanced, and I think there's the expert, or I'm not sure if there is an expert. The problem is when you the dual wield is determined by their strength. So which weapon can you dual wield? basically. Unfortunately, don't have weight, so you have to play around, and in the shop you can say that you are strong enough or not strong enough to wield it. And even if you're strong enough, there's still a question if when you're dual wielding that specific item, are you starting it with slow, or you're fast with it? Because as you can see, as you saw previously here, I had knives. They are considered to be larger weapons, so medium or large size weapon, even though they are knives. Come on, die already. And the problem, the problem is with it that I will start slow. And for example, not zombies, but these fast-moving little enemies can shred me apart because I don't have the time to hit them, or I don't have the attack speed to hit them, and it's a big problem. For example, look, I have 2 mallets because dual wielding, but look, I am starting very slow compared to my enemies. And even if my enemy is unarmed, for example, that could be still a problem for me because he's much more faster unarmed than I am with a weapon. So even though I tried to hit them, I couldn't because they are much faster than me and they always cancel my attack. It's a bummer. The reason how you can deal with it, for example, that you will always backward a little bit when they are attacking. Of course, it only works with. Oh, come on, die already. Only works with melee characters who are following you. Of course, ranged characters won't follow you, they will shoot the shit out of you. And that's also a problem. If they are still... no, they are also doing this backward thing, so kiting. And, you know, you try to hit them with the weapons, they move away, you miss them. Move forward, try to hit them, you miss them. So there's no chance normally that you would hit a guy with slower weapons, so dual wielding. That's why I use, for example, one of my guys has my axe, for example, because the axe, even though it's a two-handed weapon, I was much faster with it because one sec. Because that weight was still less than the weight of these 2 medium-sized weapons, so I was much faster with it, and I did have the strength to have this to swing these weapons faster. So you must be aware what kind of weapons you want to use and what kind of strength you have. Of course, for example, in the case of the Massive, who can only put points in strength and endurance, there's no problem, he can wield the largest weapons, but it's still a question because I tried them, I had a lot of strength in my character, but even the largest weapon, for example the Dragon Slayer, I don't know if I could wield them to dual wield them, but even then with this much strength it was very slow, so by the time I would swing that thing they would either cancel me twice or they would just kill me right out. So it's a problem. So as you can see here, it looks like they are small knives, see, but at least 1 second, 1.5 seconds before I hit them, basically. And an unarmed damage is much faster, or if they attack me with a single melee weapon, I mean the enemy, it's still more. Oh, here's the dual wielding. Oh no, shit, it's advanced. I forget. Sorry. And this dual wielding only, what I just mentioned, it only applies for the melee weapons. In range weapons, it doesn't matter because usually you won't. Maybe sometimes you will hit it, but it's not necessary, and it's optional if you put you know, a spike on a front. Usually you would like to shoot it, of course. In range weapons, it only determines if you can hold that weapons in your hand or not. Oh, yeah, I forgot to show you that. So I'm taking out all his gear. One sec. I got a shitload of gear. According to points, I try to run a jack of all trades, so good with everything. Let's say at least he's good with endurance and dexterity. So this is how. Oh yeah, I forget. So this is how the guy looks like. Pumpkin head, broken pumpkin head or something, blood all over it, his fingers are like, oh Jesus. So this is how the guy looks like, and he has the skills that I just mentioned. So put all these things back. I had to color the armor parts because all my guys look like the same, and I couldn't tell them which one is mine and which one is my hirelings. One of the tips I would like to also mention: casual shoes. You know, you can put on different shoes that give you like the heavy powder, different armor, etc. But I would suggest to use this casual shoe because I think this is the only item or only clothes piece that will remove some encumbrance. So this is basically this is the one that determines how much armor can you put on your guy before it will be overburdened. And one sec, no, okay, and it is, I think endurance will make it, or strength. No. I think endurance. Interesting because endurance is leveling up your corpus and also the encumbrance level. So you have to watch for that. This is the reason why I colored my other guys to differentiate myself from them, because some of them are black, some of them are blue, or other things. I was lucky last time because when I first received the cook, you know, the black market dealer, I could have bought the minigun. I never even see it because it's quite cool, but it costed $1,100,000, so dream on. Oh yes, the rocket launcher. I think this is the only place where you can buy basically these heavy weapons. Oh, minigun. Oh yeah. Well, look, there's the price. Quite cool, I love it, but I'm just dreaming about it because it's so much money that, oh Jesus. Of course, it has 500 ammunition inside, and I don't know how much magazine can you bring with your, but I think there are some clothes or armor that give you standard or +2 magazines to all of your weapons. If they give you +2 for this, you won't need any other gun basically, because it means you have 1,500 ammunition. It's much more than you could possibly get with all the other weapons, so it's quite cool, and I think it's the strongest gun basically in the game. Yep, 7 damage. Accuracy is quite good. I don't know if you could upgrade this item like all the other not guns or what? Oh, or all the other things. Also, here, as you know, here you can upgrade the black market. Here you can upgrade your hirelings. I don't know if it's necessary because usually you can only take 3. Now, if you can have more, and you can you know, customize them as you want or upgrade them as you want, but unfortunately they only receive experience through fighting, so you have to bring them to a fight. Now, if you bring them, the newbies, even with a new gear to a fight, they most probably will die because they don't have the skills or they couldn't use so effectively their weapons. If you bring your experienced guys, there's a chance that they will die. Of course, I don't think the cloning and the reviving is such a big deal in sense of money. So it's the highest was cost was, I don't know, $1,000 to $700. So it's not a big deal because usually from one mission you will get between of course, in the future, at least 2,000 to 8,000 to 10,000. So it's not a problem, I think. And if you pay attention to your guys, then there will be no problem. So it is possible. I don't think if any of my guys ever died here, and I've been playing this quite a while. So it's quite good, and I like to give them proper. If you give them proper weapons and proper gear and armor, it's very hard to kill them. Luckily. Okay, let's see this. And as you can see, these are custom-made weapons. I upgraded his weapon. I have no idea what this, and there's also mine. intend to use the machine guns. The reason, because I also love the dual wielding in pistols, but unfortunately pistols have very short range. It doesn't matter if you know, the cursor says that, oh, here is it, and you're locking on his head. For example, if I stay here and let's say here's the guy and I'm locking on his head, the pistol won't hit it, because this is basically the range for the guns. Of course, you can modify it, you can get better, but they have less bullets. The reloading time, you know, for the hard-hitting pistols like the revolver or magnum, reload is slow. And sorry. And the problem is that it's close quarter weapons. And in many cases it's not worth it, especially the harder guys who has armor, who have you know, the parry skill and all these things. You won't be able to hit them, or it will be very hard for you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't use it, but these weapons, I mean the guns, they are much more accurate from the base without upgrading than all the pistols. That's a problem. Okay, let's see. Oh, here is the ghost, as you can see it. He's like reinforcements, for example. As you can see, he's usually just floating around like an idiot and try to hit these guys or go through them, or I don't know. But he can hit them. Basically, he can occupy them. So that's the best way to describe them. They won't hit very hard. They can occupy them while you are doing damage to the other guys, or taking a breather, or getting new weapons or anything. For example, he's just floating around. This idiot is just floating around here. No enemies. He's just floating around. Cool. You're a big help, dude. I usually tend to take a poker or a shock in front of my guns, because in many cases the fast enemies try to tend to get very close to me very fast and hit me, and unfortunately from this length I couldn't hit them. It's a problem. And also, if your gun is out and you don't want to throw it, you can still hit with it. It's quite good. And I don't know why, but this submachine gun, even if it sprays bullets like hell, it's quite accurate. Even though the accuracy level is maybe 30, and my gun's accuracy level, of course, with upgrades, it's 95 at the moment. So anywhere I point, most of the bullets will go that way. Normally, anywhere I point, the bullets will go around it. Okay, let me just die here. I really hate these gnomes. And they hate me too. You see? For example, this one is a faster ranged weapon, ranged enemy. By the time I swing my swords or knives, he went at least 10 meters away from me. So it's quite a big problem. Of course, if at least I hope when I receive the advanced melee dual wielding, then my swings will be faster. If my swing will be faster, then it will be no problem for me. Also worth noting, when you go above the waves, so the normal waves that you require to get to a new level, if you go above them, then the enemies not only get stronger, but if you run into, for example, the propeller that throw you in it, then you will instantly die. So no corpus reduction, you will die instantly. That's a bummer. This is also to make it harder. Okay, let's see who's live. I love throwing these things in other people's faces. Where's my... And it's interesting that I have already shoot at all my ammunition, and these guys still have their guns. And he almost jumped into the propeller. Great idea. There are some areas or arenas that are easier, in my opinion, than the others, because either they don't have any traps, such deadly traps, because it looks cool, and you know the idea is to kick them in it or throw them in it is good, but in most cases it will not happen because they're not positioned in a way. You have to sacrifice a lot of time to do that, or sacrifice your men, and it's much easier to just simply kill them. Shut up. Oh, and one more thing, I forgot to mention that this guy also has the skill, at least as I read it, that there's a melee skill called weapons that lawnmower, I think. When you throw huge or large weapons, you know, just like in the campaign with Jeebus, it will kill everything in its way. Unfortunately, there's a problem because as I saw and I tried to test it with large weapons, it didn't work. I don't know when it's supposed to work, or I didn't read the description right. But if it would work, the following thing would be the problem. With Jeebus, you can, with the Nexus Force, you can bring back the swords from anywhere on the map. With this guy, you cannot. He doesn't have the Nexus Force. So, or the relic, the halo. How would you retrieve that? Especially if a place has several levels like this one, for example, how would you retrieve it? You have to go every time up, down, etc. And if you throw it away and there are a lot of enemies around you, you will be without a weapon. And it's a big problem, I think. Luckily, this guy is slow. Unfortunately, that one is not. So it's a good idea to have it, and with all the other characters you can put talents on it, or you can learn that skill. I rarely use it, to tell you the truth. I think because it's a high-end talent or something. I'm not 100% sure. Oh Jesus! Ah shit! You saw that? Oh, I killed my own man. He had a lot of corpus, full corpus, and because he went into that grinder, he immediately died. This would happen with me also, so if I would die from any accident, I know because it happened to me, unfortunately, it will kill them instantly. So not only your enemies, but yourself too. You saw, I already have 4,000 cash with one, I think. 1 or 2. So it's money is not a big deal, and we will see that one of my upgraded characters. I don't know how much level do I have, for example. No, there's no level. Oh, 21. So let's say he's 20 or 21 too. The shortcut. Let's see how much we will cost. Where are you? It's 180, nothing basically, and he's level 22, so it's nothing basically compared to the 4,000 that I received from the mission. So I think it's quite good. So reviving is not a problem. I think they are already tended that you and your man will die a lot, and it will cost you a lot of. Basically, what is expensive here are the guns or the special guns that you just saw. 1 million for a minigun? Oh Jesus! But think about it. Just a wild guess. If you managed to buy 4 miniguns to all of your characters, shit, you would mow down the whole area. Of course, the problem are the golems because they have bulletproof armor, but it will be quite cool. Whatever armor do you put on, it's totally up to you. I like to put them in such armors that have, for example, plus magazine, because I usually play with ranged characters. The more armor, the better, but also you have to watch out for the encumbrance level. What are important, I think, are the ammo belts. For example, this will get 1 standard magazine, which means that I think, I'm not 100% sure, but it will do. It will give you a magazine for all your weapons, so machine guns, submachine guns, pistols, etc. Some of the clothes give you only for not machine guns, for pistols. Some of them give you for all of them. Ammo backpack, it's quite good, and as you can see it has for heavy magazines and for standard. Unfortunately, look at the accumulance level. It's 6, it's quite a heavy one. I couldn't get it on my guy, I had to take off some armor. Not a good idea, because it doesn't give you any armor, it's only a support. Of course, I have thugs, clubbers, and the guys that have a lot of strength, so probably an endurance, so probably they could wear it. I think some of my guys are already wearing it. That's why they have so much ammunition. Gloves, you have a lot of gloves. You can even have unarmed gloves that will boost you. Unfortunately, with this guy, unarmed doesn't work, so it's not a good idea. But with others, for example, it's a possibility to give them, because in the middle of the fight you will sometimes realize that your guys are fighting basically barehanded. Even though he has a machine gun on his back, he throws away a weapon and he's fighting barehanded. Very clever, but not very effective. So ammo belt is good because it will give you a standard magazine. Where is it? Casual shoe, it's very good because this is the only one that will decrease your encumbrance level, so you can have a larger armor on yourself. Hoods, and so these are basically accessories which will give you very little armor, but even some of them didn't give you any armor, but it's better because very little encumbrance, and of course they're stylish. Earphone. Some of them are interesting because they didn't give you any encumbrance, they didn't give you any plus, but it looks cool. I buy some of them. But look at it, compared to the eyebrows, which give you some armor and encumbrance, this thing doesn't give you anything, and it's still 3 times more expensive. I don't know why. Uniforms, of course, there are also some uniforms, for example, the agency suit, which will give you for handgun ammo, and there are other things. It depends on you what you like. Respirators, of course, usually I use them, the biggest armor, and that's it. Ooh, good. This is also an interesting one. The breeder, I use the breeder bullet because I really like it. But for example, this Pendermas gives you 5 armor and 1.5 encumbrance, and the other will give you half more armor but twice the encumbrance. So I think this is much better. Glasses, the same thing. Usually I use this what is it called? The N51 visor, because 1 encumbrance, 5 armor, and all the others are basically much heavier. I use the Plague Doctor because when I had much more encumbrance. So that's it. The hats and all these things are optional. Usually the commander or these lower. What's this? Oh yeah, bandana. These are the ones who have more armor value. All the others basically just have very little, but it's totally up to you. And of course, here is the other thing that is recommended to upgrade. These are basically the recruitments, or that you can request. Oops, sorry. I had to do a little pause at the moment, but we are back. Also, in the meantime, I gathered up new weapons. For example, I always like this weapon, the Bulldozer 12 gold. I think in real life it's the AA-12 shotgun, automatic shotgun. The reason is because it has much higher damage than the Scar, even though the Scar has immense accuracy. With the upgrades, this shotgun also has the accuracy of 90, and usually I can one-hit almost anyone, even the armored ones. Unfortunately, the tech barrel has some problem for me, but decent amount of ammo, because I could change that round drum to this. I don't know, I think it has 4 more ammo, so not a big problem. I also have the poker, good damage, range, etc. Even though it says range 6, I can hit from one side of the screen to the other, so it's no problem for me. I rarely miss with this gun, and I think I gave my scar to one of my friends. I also like to make a correction here, because I was able to hire more guys. So at the moment I have together with me 6 guys, so you can have more. I don't know if it has so it's it has I don't know how should I say it. It has a connection with how leveled up you are, or how much endurance or tech bar or whatever you have. But there was an option after a while that I could add more guys, and I also upgraded them. As I mentioned, the newbies died very fast, even though I gave them guns. The problem is I cannot give them enough armor in the beginning, because if I gave them, they couldn't even move. They would be so slow that they will be attacked and shred to pieces. As you can see, in the meantime, I've upgraded the black market. What do we have here? I also wanted to have this gun, but you should know that because this is a massive and giant gun, it is considered a heavy. So I think there are only 1 or 2 gold pieces that give you extra magazines for this. Also worth noting that this contains 100 ammunition. So if you have 2 mags plus, so it means 300 bullets. It's much more than any of the other weapons. This is basically the same. So you can change this. What's the difference? I think in damage. So this is better, but these weapons, I know that you can customize them. So you can change the ammo here to get 100. Maybe the shells will be smaller. I don't know exactly. I also had a laser carbine from one of my people, and it's quite good. The assault rifle, etc., etc. What's this? Ooh, it looks cool. I think this is the biggest or most expensive submachine gun that you can have, and in dual wielding, for example, I can wield this in dual wield. I think most of your men can also, if they have the profession or the talent for it, because I was needing gunmen, so I hired 2 of them, and I try to level them up at the moment. So here they are. No, this is the same guy. One sec. So this one has the carbine laser, this one has the whatever you have. This one has my scar, as you can see, accuracy of 100, so this guy shoots very accurately. It's cool, but I think I had 30 ammunition here, and I had, I think, about 4 or 5 magazines, 4.5. But with this one I have 5 plus a half. So it's bigger, and usually it is very hard to miss with this shotgun, and I like it. Oh, here are the new ones. So as you can see, I only put a few things on it. The ammo belt, access, some, well, what do you have? A huge weapon, the brand, it's also quite good. What? And it also has 100 accuracy, so quite deadly. This one has the scar, I gave him the scar, it is a little more... No, where is it? Wait, this is a higher level. Oh, come on! These guys are have more level than me. What the hell? This one has a fuse, and this guy has the specs light too nice, but I have seen. I don't think he has the training for it, so he would need not only the dual wield melee, but he would need the advance. Unfortunately, oh, here it is. Okay. Then he's fast enough. Okay, because the same problem that I just mentioned, that even though if it has 2, whatever they call the 2 weapons, he would be still slow with them. So a faster enemy could shred him apart, and he could never hit them. Unfortunately, they're stupid enough to stand there until they hit them, or until they die. So. As here, and I think here is the last. So this is the North Striker, it looks like, and I could use it. Unfortunately, it sprays bullets like hell, so in my case I would just waste most of them. I don't know how much ammunition would I have. It's quite good. Someone who likes the machine gun, it could be quite deadly. And unfortunately, as you can see, the accuracy is quite low. You can upgrade it. The question is, how much upgrade can you put on a weapon? Because if you put too much on it, it will be heavier, and by the time you finish it, there's a chance that you won't be able to dual wield it because it's so heavy. So you have to watch out for it and play with it. How much money I have? 23,000. My goal is basically to either buy this M60 or M6000, whatever the hell was it called, and the minigun, which will be tough luck for me. But I think that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. And if you want more madness, there are several authors there, and because it's one of my favorite games also, I will try to put on more madness things about the characters, the strengthness, how does the basically the arena looks like. There are several what is it, movies or pictures, videos about the campaign mode, which is good, and even I think 4 players can play at the same time. Co-op, of course, but there's no internet, so online play for this, unfortunately. I hope there will be more DLCs for this because it's quite good, and I think one of the most fun part is the arena, basically, where you build your empire, you build your character from scratch. Unfortunately, I cannot understand why isn't any co-op in this arena mode, because it would be quite good to have with your friends and build your own characters, share the money, or have different money and gear up, send in some guys and kill everything and have a good time. But that's it for me. Thank you very much for your time. Bye bye.